Got it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our team Zoom. My name is Harlequin Murray, and if this is your first time coming to one of our Zooms, welcome. We're glad you're here, and we're glad that you are a part of us. But my name is Harlequin Murray, and I get the honor and pleasure of introducing our speaker, who is a dear friend of mine. And for those of you who are new, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ellen. For those of you who've heard this before, sorry, but that's life. Anyways, Ellen grew up on a farm outside of Atlanta, Georgia, in a town called Dallas, Georgia. And she currently resides back on that property right now. But whenever she got out of school, she went to work in the restaurant industry, worked there for many, many years. And she had ended up working with Domino's Pizza and was a regional manager with them and a training manager. And then she ended up going and starting her own pizza restaurant. She actually had 2 locations and went along the way with that, and she wished she had DAC type funding whenever she was opening up her second location, especially. But anyways, after that, she ended up going into network marketing, and she worked with several different companies in that arena. And she was actually the national training director of a company whenever I first met her. Gosh, it's been 15, almost 20 years ago now. And she has a lot of training experience. She was actually running a training center at the time. I know if you were on today's Zoom, you heard David talking about those training centers back then. But anyways, she is currently a DAC agent. She is one of the top ranking agents in the field, and she's an area director as well as a 1-star director in the longevity comp plan. But anyways, without further ado, Miss Ellen Winn, I'm going to let you take it away.
Hey there, I am here. Thank you, Harlequin. I appreciate that introduction. And every time you talk about how long we've known each other, I'm thinking how quickly time flies. So yeah, coming up on, we're at 18 years, I know. Sure. So glad to have met you that many years ago, and glad that we still have a friendship today and are back in business together. So really excited. For those of you that this is your first time joining us, welcome. We do the Zooms every Monday, and this is an opportunity for you to get to plug into team leadership. We're the ones that you work directly with out in the field. You know, we've got all the corporate training and all the corporate support, and we have a great support team in-house, David Allen Capital. But when you're out here working and trying to get with clients and do 3-way calls and so on, you want to be able to work with somebody in the field. And that's what this Zoom is for, to get you guys engaged in conversations with your clients and know who you can reach out to when you have a client question and need some support. So I like to start these Zooms off every single week with our agent recruiting here. Let me see. I don't know what I did with that Zoom. Hang on a second. I'm going to have to minimize this. Not the Zoom, but the slideshow. There we go. I just had it on a different slide. Now I can get us into screen share and show you what's on my screen. All right, now I got the right one. I love it when a plan comes together and it works as it should. All right, so we've got the DAC to the rescue, and that's what we really are doing as DAC agents, whether we're rescuing a business owner that's needing our funding program, or whether we're rescuing a friend or a neighbor or a professional that is looking for an extra income stream. And that's what DAC is all about, supporting our business community and our entrepreneurial community. So I like to start this off with team recognition on our recruiting board, because our recruiting helps us accomplish both of those goals. Recruiting allows us to build an independent agent network that helps us get the distribution model across the country. And we don't get customers into DAC unless we have agents talking about them. So agents and growing that agency network is lifeblood of our business. So these are the recruiting numbers for the week of October the 24th through October the 30th. In first place, I came in with 10 new recruits for the week. In second place, we had Nick Cranstown with 5 new recruits for the week. Congratulations, Nicholas. Brittany Cooper came in third place with 4 new agent recruits. Congratulations, Brittany. And in fourth place, we had a 6-way tie, each with 2 new agent recruits. Noel Booker, Miriam McMillan, Cameron Hope, Quentin Eidelberg, Dennis Robinson, and Katina Willis. So congratulations to everybody that made the leaderboard. We had quite a few people who had 1 recruit. In fact, we had 41 people in the team last week who had at least 1 new recruit, for a total of 63 new agents onboarded to Team Winn. Team Winn is just my organization. I've been with the company since June of 2018. I started just like you, by myself, with no agents and no customers, but I started getting the word out. In fact, on day 1, I started recruiting because I invited a friend of mine who had messaged me to like his Facebook page, his business Facebook page. I invited him to take a look at what we were doing because it looked like it was a good match. He got involved with me that very same day. He started recruiting a team, and I continued recruiting a team. And it was 8 months or so before I ever had my first funded client. But by the time I had my first funding, I had hundreds of agents on my team. And I encourage you to do the same thing. I have team system support in place to help you earn while you're learning. All right. And that is going to help support new people that you onboard with the DAC system and what I have in place with communication and plugging you guys into additional trainings. There's no reason why you can't get started recruiting day 1. You don't have to have success on your own to be able to get out there and bring in an agent team. Now, we have a recruiting incentive in place right now, and that is all the way through the end of this year. So if you're brand new, you're automatically engaged your first 60 days anyway. But if you've been around a while and haven't had a client in the past 60 days, you would have fallen out of the engaged status to be eligible to earn on a team. But if you're recruiting and bringing in new agents, anyone that has been recruited into your team between May 23rd, number 2 here, between May 23rd and through the end of this year, any new agents that you onboard during that time frame, you're going to get paid on their first 2 fundings at a minimum, because you're going to be considered automatically engaged. So I encourage you to get out and recruit. What does engaged mean? Well, engaged means that you're going to get a minimum of a 25% check match on anyone that you personally bring into David Allen Capital. So you say you have a business owner that gets funded with $200,000. If we're talking about just funding, then that first funding would be a 3% commission to the agent. They would make $6,000. Your 25% match on that would be $1,500. Okay. If that were an ERC, they would earn 4% of that, or 200 times 4%, they would earn $8,000, right? And your 25% match would be $2,000 if you brought in someone who brought in an ERC client. If you're if you're amped up and eligible for double commissions, that means you earn a 50% match on your personally enrolled agent. So the example of that $6,000 earnings going to the agent you recruited. 50% match would be $3,000. If it were the ERC where they earned 4% instead of 3%, they would make $8,000 and you would get a $4,000 match if you're amped up, right? So that's the importance of being able to recruit and being able to bring some quality people on board. Not only are you making money by helping business owners, but you can also make money by helping other business owners get started with DAC. And when they start having success, you get up to 50% check match. In fact, you can even get up to 100% check match in their first 30 days with our fast start bonuses there. Now, tomorrow is the first Tuesday of the month. So a couple of things. That means today's the last day of the month. So those of you that have a team growing and have some volume in your business, you want to make sure you check your volume and make sure that you have at least 50, if not 100 personal qualifying volume points so that you get paid on your team, because today's the end of the month, which means the residual month close out today or tonight at midnight Pacific Standard Time. So 3 a.m. Eastern Time is when you want to get your qualifying volume points in. You can do that if you don't have clients that hit the books today. You can go through your longevity back office and place an order as a customer of yourself. If you do that, then those points hit automatically. If you don't understand that and miss it till tomorrow, then our support team at Longevity will work with you to get those points placed back in the month of October for you to qualify so that you can earn a residual check. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, go watch the compensation video number 3 under the big green 3 at the top of the Agent Resource Center, where David covers the residual compensation plan. But that's the end of the month today, which means tomorrow is the first of the month. And every month we do our first Tuesday Zooms, the first Tuesday of every month. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we'll start out with a business opportunity overview. David alluded today that he may or may not be available to do that presentation. If he is not, because of a prior commitment with his daughter's, I believe, volleyball tournament that she's playing in, then it may be me doing the presentation. And I'm always extremely honored and excited when I get to go on the corporate stage and do that business overview. So either me or David Rutsch will be doing that presentation tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And then following that at 9 p.m., David will be taking us through some ERC, employee retention credit training, as well as funding training, and showing that combination of how you can help a business owner get funding in the future with the ERC credits, or now money if you're talking to them, they can't wait for that tax refund to come back in from the IRS. Both of those Zooms are going to be at daczoom.com, and that is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. All right. Let's go to see if we have any of our funding spotlights on. Harlequin, do we have any folks that were on last week getting recognized? They're available tonight. Do you know?
Yeah, we do. We actually have somebody who was recognized last week, but had a prior commitment with a client.
Excellent.
And we have a brand new DAC 4, Mr. Dion Davis. So Dion, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. And if you're able to, we'd love to see you in person, but let's see here.
I am definitely here. Can you give me like 5 seconds? Because my dog is going crazy. I got to let him out so I can run around. Give me like 5 seconds. I'll get on here. Okay. Just give me a limit. Give me a minute.
You gotta love live video. You never know what you're going to run into, right?
I know, right?
Yeah, well, and Ellen typically has a little dog running around in her background too. So
yeah, that's true. I've got her in another room, so we won't be seeing her make appearances on my Zoom tonight, or at least not anytime soon.
yeah.
Yeah, we're excited that Dion hit DAC 4 last week. We had slides up recognizing him. While we're waiting on him, I'm going to put us back on screen share real quick and show everybody what we're talking about. Pull up that recognition slide that we had for him and cover what was necessary for him to get to DAC 4.
Yeah. And we actually have his enroller is on tonight, Miss
Excellent.
GC. So
Let me go back over
congratulations,
here.
JC, for enrolling or getting a second personally sponsored agent up to the level of DAC 4. That is absolutely fabulous. So
Hey,
Yeah, so
I'm
this is
here.
a screen that we had up for Dion last week because he actually qualified last week. And what getting to DAC 4 is, okay, if you look at the DAC compensation plan, there are different levels that you have to climb up, and you climb up these levels by having personal clients. You get all the way to DAC 4 with personal clients. I'm going to run through what they all are real quick. DAC 1, you have to have at least one personally funded client and a total funded value of $10,000 or more. To hit DAC 2, you have to have two personally funded clients with a $20,000 total funded value or more. And to get to DAC 4, you have to have four personally funded clients at a minimum and at least 40,000 in total funded value. So Dion hit DAC 4. He's had over $250,000 in funding. I don't remember the exact number, but he had a really big funding.
64.
There is the first one. So as a DAC 4, he is now at the top level that you can reach on your own without building a team. And as a DAC 4, he's earning, let's see, Harley can help me here, 7.6% on personal fundings on the regular funding plans. And on the ERCs as a DAC 4, he's earning 5.2% of the refund amount as a DAC 4. So really big jump in what your commission eligibility is from being a DAC 0 all the way up to DAC 4. And that just comes with putting in the time and effort to get there. So I'm going to take us off a screen share and go back over. Hopefully Dion's got his dog squared away and we'll go back to camera.
I'm here. I'm here.
Awesome. Looking good.
He's still whining, but you know, hey, he's only 11 weeks old, so.
Oh, what kind is he?
I have no idea. He's a Heinz 57. That's what I call him.
Awesome.
So, but he's a good pup. But yeah, the DAC 4, I mean, I got like every single commission I got from 3 to 4 was way more than what I thought it was going to be. And of course, I get the email and they tell you, you know, this is how you got this, that, and the other, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad because I thought I hit DAC 4, but I didn't because it was renewal. So I didn't hit it. So then, you know, on Friday I hit it, and then Monday I was recognized. I was like, all right, cool, I finally got it. So now I was hoping to hit another one, but it didn't go through. So, but it's all good though. I still got time.
Excellent. So Dion, I know everybody on here watching, when they see somebody else have success and get promoted, what is it that you're doing? How are you finding your clients? And any story you want to share about your success would be great.
Okay. I find all my clients on Facebook. So what I did was I went and looked for owners in different Facebook groups, owners, self-employed, founders. So I started adding them to my friends list. So the owner that I got that I funded 75K with, that guy, I made a comment to one of his clients about funding. So when I make comments about his client, then he obviously he hit me up and then it's like, hey, I need to know about this funding thing because I mean, I've got funding, and he went through someone else. He got a postcard, and he went ahead and applied for the funding, and he got approved, but he didn't like the approval. So when he seen my post, then he went ahead and hit me up and says, hey, can you beat this? And of course, got with Wade, and me and Wade's had some really great deals together. And he's really good at getting the best deals. I mean, he got a deal for him for 75 and 100K. I was like, yes, let's do it. So I'm like, all right, cool. So, I mean, I chewed on it like a dog with a bone. I was like, I'm going to take this all the way to it. And we did it. We got all of it funded. And I'm telling you, I did not know I was going to make more than what I thought. And then the 6% came up after another person hit me up on Facebook. I'm doing reels, I'm doing videos. And once I do reels and videos, I warm up Facebook by loving everything on there with the different owners, self-employed, the different founders. And once I keep doing that, then it warms my Facebook up. And then I post a reel, and then I post a video, and then I go in there and say something to whoever, and then next thing you know, people hit me up. I already got a notice from Facebook saying, hey, look, you need to put your account number here so you can get money. So I'm just like, okay, so this is working. This is social media. Anti-social media is what I call it most time. But it's social media, just getting the right people in your friends list, because we all know how friends and family are with our business, right? They're right all over it, right? No, they're not. But most people that you put on your friends list is the most important, because if you have a whole bunch of friends and family and they keep seeing everything that you're doing, they're not going to get along. They're not going to have a business. You want the right clients on your Facebook to where you can target them every single time you post a reel, every time you post a video, every time you post a meme, or you want to share something that one of us having a DAC group, or you want to post things to where people are seeing it. And then what I found out is that most of the people that are actually hitting me up are the new friends that are owners, self-employed, and founders. So that's how I end up getting my clients. And I've got even more clients coming in too, because I still keep posting reels, I keep still posting videos, and I'm learning a little bit more about how to do it. So, I mean, that's really how I got the clients that I got to even hit DAC 4. And I was hit DAC 5 before today, but it didn't happen. But I'm trying. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going.
Excellent. Well, I love what you said there. And what you're really doing is building relationships. You're targeting the right people, and then you're building relationships with them. But can you go back and explain a little bit on what you mean on I know you're warming up Facebook by having interaction with people before you post, but what do you mean when you say you're loving them?
So you don't go and like posts. Like post gets less attention than love post. So when you love on a post and you comment on that post, I mean, be genuine. Don't just go in there and it's like, okay, yeah, that's funny. No, be genuine and talk to people. And once you do that on the post, then next thing you know, your whole notification just blows up with people saying, hey, thanks for this, thanks for that. Or, they mention you. As soon as they put your name in there, you're already engaged. So then Facebook sees the algorithm as, guess what? You're engaged with these people. You talk to these people all the time. So I'm talking to owners. I'm talking to self-employed. So you have to love what they do. And if you don't love what they do, don't even mess with it. Just you leave it alone. But I mean, if you really get engaged in their posts, and I do what social media you actually go on their page and you look and see what they like, the different things they like, and then you go in there and you do recon on them, and you're like, all right, cool, let me see what they're talking about, and then you can really engage with them about something might be a common interest that you have, that they have, and then you lay that out like, hey, I see you're interested in, say, me, I'm good, big on UFC. I say, hey, you're engaged in UFC, so I might mention someone they like or someone they don't like or whatever, you know what I mean, just to get some kind of commonality with them. Or it might be gardening, it might be cooking, it might be anything like that. It might be just being in part of a fathers group or something. You're talking about kids. You just engage, and once you engage with them, then it automatically, they're just like, I got common ground. And I learned that when I sold cars for 9 years. So, I mean, I get common ground and I love what they do. And then I engage with them on social media, and then they hit me up. And I'm telling you, it's almost instant, because I'm just like, all right, what am I doing today? And then all of a sudden someone said, hey, can you tell me about this funding? Oh, yeah, I sure can. So, yeah, you got to get engaged with them.
Excellent. Excellent. When you say love them, you're not talking about just going and hitting the heart sign instead of the thumbs up like, right? You're talking about actually having a conversation, not just the symbol that you love the post.
Yes, you have to engage with them, because the more and more you engage with, I mean, it wasn't like one time I did it. It was every single time they posted anything. I love what they're doing. I see what they're talking about. I engage on the post. And once I engage in the post, they see that's warming it up. And then they see that I am engaging with them and they answer me back. And then sometimes you can go back in there, and after they reply to you, you can also love again. Then you can also reply again. That keeps their post hot, and it also keeps your algorithm up. So that's the whole thing that I've been doing. I keep doing it. And some days I'm just like, you know what, let's see what I'm gonna do today. And just all day long be on Facebook, just warming it up. And then once I warm it up, next thing you know, somebody hits me up, and I had a guy call me earlier today. He goes, "Hey man, I need 300K. Can you get that for me?" I'm like, "Yep, you sure right, I can." I said, I'll let you know what we can do and this and that. And so we have something tomorrow morning. That's when we're gonna get together, put everything together. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So, but I keep doing the same thing. Warm Facebook up as much as possible. And we already have lenders that's gonna use the 500 credit score to the 600 credit score to the 450 credit score. So we've got all that. Facebook's got a lot of those people. I got that guy with 75K. He didn't even have a credit score. Wade got him a deal. Run with it. Just run with it.
Wade Cordell can work miracles for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So great job. Thanks for the social media tutorial tonight. That's great stuff. Harlequin, did you have anything that you wanted Dion to share, or anything you want to ask him in particular?
Well, first of all, congratulations, Dion. I'm so proud of you. And I know this is just the beginning of your success with DAC. I do want to say one thing on when you're on social media, especially Facebook, you need to, whenever you're responding to somebody, you need to have 3 or more words for it to count in their algorithm. So just a tip for people. But yeah, thank you for those tips. And yeah, I know this is just the beginning for you. And I'm so excited.
Hey, I do this full time. So, you know, hey, this is what I do, and then I'm gonna continue to do it. And I've got some more things coming down the pipeline. So this is what I do.
Excellent. Are you excited about the employee retention payroll tax credit?
Yes, we've talked about that before, and I've already been on board with ERC. So I know a lot about that, and that's what I use for cross-selling. So when it comes to, like, if someone wants a loan, then what I do is I find, of course, you're going to ask questions, right? You're going to know how many employees they got. You're going to know if they're 1099. You're going to have all this information in the beginning. So once I get past all my funding assessment, what I call it, once I get past that, I'm like, well, have you heard about the employee retention tax credit? They're like, oh, but guess what? You're going to have a loan, and then you got an employee tax credit, free money. That's like a bridge loan almost, but it's not a loan, you know, with the ERC. But you literally tell them, look, I can get you a loan now, but guess what? I can get you money later, so where you don't have to worry about paying it. So, and I mean, I use that every single time, cross sell from your loan to that, because you're like, oh man, you're gonna give me a loan tomorrow, and then I get free money in 3 to 6 months. Yeah. Can you want to do that? They're always on board with it. It's to me, it's a cross-selling tool, because I mean, I've been in sales for so long, but that's a cross-sell. And that's going to be the biggest thing for anybody that's in the funding business. If you want to make some serious money, you talking about making, say you get 5 people done in one month, and then 3 to 6 months from now, you get $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 off of what you did in that month. That's a huge selling tool.
Yes, it is. Well, great. Thank you, Dion. Anything else before we go back to our slideshow here? Nope.
I'm good. I didn't know if there had any questions or anything. I didn't hear nobody. So
yeah, we'll do some questions at the end. Okay. I see Shelton popped his hand up. I want to get through the slideshow real quick, and then we'll go to questions, and you guys can ask Dion directly at that time. Okay. Let's go back over here, get a couple things covered, and then we'll go to Q&A. All right. I want to remind everybody on our employee retention tax credits. Reason I'm showing this is if you've got new agents on board, they may not have received a welcome email that says we have employee retention tax credits. The welcome email got updated from David Allen Capital before we launched this program. But last week, I realized I had some new agents that had just come in and that verbiage and that link wasn't there. So I'm covering it tonight. If you're brand new or if you're bringing on new agents, make sure that they know where this link is, because it may not be in the welcome letter. Why? Because that welcome letter has to get updated by our partners over at Longevity, and the IT team had not added that additional verbiage yet on the request from DAC. So if you are not familiar and haven't seen it in your welcome email, we have an employee tax credit link on your DAC website. You just click on that link and it's going to populate davidallencapital.com/tax credit / in the address bar. You just need to make sure that you add your agent ID number to the end of the link before you send it to a prospect. So essentially, anytime you click around different links on your website, if you're going to send a link to someone else, you must always add your agent ID number to the end, even if you see your name on the website, right? The reason your name is on there, no matter what page you click on, is because cookies have dropped bits of data onto the browser, and those cookies are on your browser. So once this link leaves your browser and goes to someone else by you sending them a text or posting on social media or emailing it to them, if it doesn't have your agent ID number on the end of it, it will not track back to you. So make sure you always check that. Okay. Also, with that being said, on getting things out there to new agents, if you're talking to prospective agents, we're doing an updated presentation tomorrow, which will include the ERC conversation, but we don't have a live video on the partner page that talks about the ERC opportunity. So if you have a prospective agent and you really want them to get the big picture view of what DAC is all about, I recorded a 22-minute business presentation. You can find the link to that. The short link is op.ellenwinn.link. It redirects over to a YouTube link. You don't need to send out this link that has my name in it to a prospect. I would just use this to get to the right link, and then you can copy that from the share button on YouTube. You can send out the actual YouTube link to a prospective client. I made that generically in the comments on it, and me presenting it. It says, get back to the person that that shared this video with you, get their enroller link and get started with them. So I created that as a tool for all of you. And again, as I said, their welcome email may not have the verbiage about the ERC in it. So just be a good enroller and encourage people to go through the training. The new training is in the Agent Resource Center. If you look under the big green 1, 2, 3 at the top of the Agent Resource Center, number 2 video has the funding training, and just below that is the ERC training. And everybody needs to be going through both of those now. Okay. ERC is a massive hit. As Dion said, he's been involved with this and he's using it as a cross sell. And I see it as a cross sell on every conversation that you have potentially, right? You're talking to someone. I'm leading with ERC now because that's something that anybody and everybody could qualify for, right? Not everybody needs funding when you're talking to them today, but if they had employees and potentially qualify for this free money, that's what I'm leading with, to ask if they qualify. If they don't, then, or if they do or don't, chances are they might need money today or sometime in the near future. So I want to let them know, oh, by the way, we also do this, right? And give them the brief 30-second elevator pitch about what we do at David Allen Capital. But ERC is a massive hit. We're going to talk about what do you say when you're prospecting to people, but I want to point something out. I was going through with Google and looking up ERC. I want to show you this. Oh, and actually I pulled up this today. David Rutz has this sign behind him on a little plaque on his shelf. And I saw that and I'm going, yeah, that's part of this business. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. You don't lose, you learn. David talked today about having multiple conversations with people and getting better and better and practicing. We had comments from some of the agents about getting in front of the mirror. I've talked about that many times before, rehearsing, getting yourself warmed up for whatever it is you're going into. Dion talked about warming up your Facebook audience. Well, you got to warm up your own conversation in your head and the conversation that's actually going to come from your lips when you're talking to people. But whatever happens, every time you have a conversation and every time you take a step forward in building your business, you're either going to have a win or you're going to learn something new if you'll be consistent at it. I'm sure as Dion started doing this social media and trying to figure out that game, he was in the learning game big time, because what he may have started out doing initially might not have been working. And then he learned how to do reels, and then he learned the warm-up process and so on. It just takes you becoming a professional and taking whatever avenue you want to go down to contact people and getting really good at it, right? So when I say I looked at Google, here's what I did. I did some searches for ERC tax credits, and look at how many different ads come up. These first 4 slots here are paid ads, right? We have Lendio here. Lendio is one of the largest lenders in the alternative capital space. They are doing the ERC funding, right? And then you have some of these other companies that are doing that. Sorry, I had to think of what the next one was. Next, I did a search for employee tax credits. Same thing, Lendio, top spot on this one. Another innovation refunds. This one was on the other ad, so they're using similar keywords, right? But these are paid ads, the first 3 spots there. Why am I pointing out that there are people running ads about the ERC program? Well, the reason I'm pointing this out is because everybody is running paid ads. What makes us as DAC agents unique is that we all have a warm market that we can make an impact on, okay? If you decide that you want to market this business by simply just running ads, and that's all you're going to do, you're going to be more of an affiliate marketer and try to post stuff online or run ads on Google clicks, then you're in the mix with the billions of dollars that are getting spent advertising the ERC. Now, I'm going to be doing a little bit of all of it, okay? But that's not what I'm counting on. I'm counting on my interaction with my local community to be my #1 resource. Dion is interacting and creating a local community through his Facebook connections there. He's interacting, he's creating relationships, and so on. But the thing that makes DAC and our marketing model very unique is the ability to impact our local community and just have that ripple effect from the center of where you reside all the way out, and making whether it's a ½ mile radius to a mile radius to 1.5 miles to 2 miles to 3 miles and so on, being able to make an impact in your local community. I've shared in the past few days, past week or so, some of the things that I've been doing, having conversations, reaching out to business owners that I know personally. Last week, I paid to be the newsletter sponsor with my local Chamber of Commerce so that I could get the ERC program front and center at the very top of the email that gets blasted out to every one of the members in the Chamber of Commerce. And guess what? The minute that that thing went live today, I spotted it in my email. And within a couple of minutes after me seeing it, I had a couple of ERC applications come through. So I'm in that trusted network of my chamber, and chamber members saw that ad and they clicked on it. So there I have that unique warm market approach because we're all a part of the same organization. So I just wanted to share that with you and then talk about what we're saying when we have conversations with people, right? The conversations that I'm having, none of this is scripted. You've got to figure out what comes naturally for you to say. But I always start the conversation with talking to a business owner about COVID. You know, the ones that I'm reaching out to, I know that business impacted them because I'm in their local community and I saw how it hit them. I see that they're still recuperating from that. So I always start the conversation talking about COVID. I always warm up the conversation. If I haven't talked to them in a while, I have a quick catch up conversation. And then I go into, hey, did COVID impact your business, or what kind of impact did COVID have on your business? Same question, just a little bit of a different approach, right? What kind of impact did COVID have on your business? Some people are going to say we did more sales in the 2 years with COVID than we've ever done before. In fact, I've had a lot of people say that. And I'll say, well, that's great that your sales went up. Did you guys have to do any shutdowns, or were your hours restricted at all? And then I'm taking them through the questions that actually qualify them, because, if you go through the ERC training, just because somebody didn't have lower sales doesn't mean that they don't qualify for the ERC. They could have had higher sales, but if they had impacts due to government mandates, where, example, I've got 2 different businesses in mind. One, a family-owned shop. They have 4 different locations, and they're one of the ones that said, yeah, we've done more sales during COVID than ever before. And when he first went in and filled out the ERC questionnaire, he said, no, said he was not impacted to COVID, and then sent me a screenshot saying that he didn't qualify. But I knew he did because of the conversation that we had. So I got him on the phone with his son, who's a co-owner in the business. And between the 2 of them on speakerphone, I said, let's go back through. I know y'all had a tremendous sales during COVID, but how did COVID really impact your business? Did it change your operations or anything? And then they listed off 5 different things that they were impacted. One, they had to shut down there in the very beginning because they are a restaurant business, right? They had to shut down completely. And then they got to thinking about it, and they said, well, we had to reduce our hours. We couldn't run full shifts anymore. We had to limit our operating hours to X amount to this amount. Said, oh yeah, and we couldn't do inside service. We had to go to outside and carry out service only. And then the son said, Dad, remember, we were doing all of these offsite events, and we couldn't do those anymore because of COVID. He said, we were doing more sales at our offsite events than we were in the restaurant. So just me talking them through those 4 things automatically came to mind. And I said, one more question. Did you have trouble getting some of your regular ingredients? Did you have to switch out and use different vendors and suppliers because of COVID restrictions? And they're going, oh yeah, we're still running into that today. So I turned a conversation and a client that immediately said no and didn't qualify to, they probably do qualify once the CPAs go through everything and really analyze the questions that I just covered, probably turn it into a significant refund. I haven't heard back from him. He's still got to upload his documents. He says he's going to do that tomorrow, but it's all about having that conversation and pre-qualifying, like Dion was talking about. You ask them, you find out how many employees they had, find out a little bit about their business, and you help uncover the reasons why they may qualify, whether it's for funding or whether it is for the ERC. The second scenario that I want to share with you is a conversation I had today with one of the chamber members, because as soon as I see those applications come in, after having that experience of a business owner that I know for sure should qualify for that payroll tax credit, sending me a, sorry, you don't qualify at this time, it prompted me to make sure that I'm following up with every applicant that comes through, right? So I immediately reached out to one, which happens to be a computer store. And in that conversation, I said, did you make it through to where you're either qualified or not? And he said, yeah. It said, we're not qualified. And I said, oh, well, let's go through a couple of things that are kind of pre-qualifiers for you. He said, well, we had great sales, so we didn't lose money. And I said, well, that's great. I'm glad that you didn't. Congratulations. I said, did it affect your store hours? Did it affect any of your day-to-day operations? And then he started running down a list too. He said, well, initially we had to close for a few days, and then the government determined that we were an essential business. So we were able to open back up, but we had to run by appointment only. We just couldn't have an open door and any amount of people show up that wanted to. He said, so it really did restrict our business there for a long time initially. So again, those go back to the points of restricted business, that a business owner is not necessarily thinking that COVID impacted their business, because they're thinking they made more money, it really didn't hurt them. But when they analyze it through our help as agents, asking those questions, getting them to think, then that may put them into the not qualified, move them from not qualified to extremely qualified for a whole lot of money. So you got to be on top of that and asking questions. But back to talking about the ERC and that door opener, right? I start the conversation about COVID and ask, did COVID impact your business? No, I had the best sales ever. Well, did you guys have to do any shutdowns or any of this? Yeah. Well, how many employees did you have at that time? And then they go through the numbers. So I'm just asking qualifying questions and leading to that point, listening to where I've asked a few qualifying questions. If they have W-2 employees, I say, now, I know a lot of your family works here. Are those employees outside of family, or are those all family members, immediate family members? And then they're giving me that next qualifier, which has to be at least one non-immediate family member working 30 hours or more, considered a full-time employee, right? And then once I get through those and I say, well, based on your answers, chances are you guys would qualify for a refund back on your payroll taxes through the ERC. And that's my questions, getting them there. And I said, are you familiar with that? And they go, I'm not sure. And I said, well, they initially rolled out the PPP as relief. Did you guys take advantage of that? Yes, we did. Okay, well, when PPP rolled out, they had the PPP and they had the employee retention tax credit. You could get one or the other. Most businesses got the PPP because it was simpler, and at that time it was more money. But over time, the rules have changed. Now you can also get the ERC on top of the PPP. So it's not one or the other. You can actually qualify for both. And the ERC is worth up to $26,000 per W-2 employee that you had during COVID. Can I interest you in taking a look to see if letting our CPAs take a look at your numbers there to see how much you'd qualify for? That's my conversation with a business owner. I don't have any of that scripted. I'm just talking off of the top of my head because I know this program in and out, and I'm learning something new every single day. But it only comes with you either win or you learn, not win or you lose. So I want to put it back out here to some questions. I know Shelton had raised his hand earlier, probably a question for Dion. I'll open up and give everybody an opportunity to ask questions there. So Shelton, I'm going to ask you to unmute. What do you have for us tonight? As you're in your cockpit there with your headphones on and your microphone.
Hello. Well, first I want to say thank you, Ellen, for all that. That was actually some awesome information. A quick question for Dion. And I know somebody said that reels are shorts. Do you take those shorts and the short videos and you just post them directly to Facebook, or to Facebook, or do you have to first post them somewhere like TikTok or YouTube before you do that?
Okay, great question, man. Because if you do a TikTok and put it on Facebook, they don't like that.
Yeah.
So you most definitely the videos that I do for just my little reels and stuff, I just do the video, I edit my video, and I post it directly to reels. You don't post it anywhere else, because if you go to TikTok, the Facebook don't want you to go away from Facebook. So you have to be on Facebook to get that. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So that goes directly into something called Reels on Facebook itself. There's a section called Reels.
Yeah. Well, when you have the Facebook story to where you can like post a story, if you just go to the right of it, it'll say Reels, and it's REELS. And you can just go to that, and then I've looked at several different ones, but I think I got on one of them, I got like over 600 views, and then Facebook messaged me and said, hey, you need to go ahead and add your account here because you're going to make some money, because a lot of people are looking at it. So yeah, it's that little bit of doing that, because you can post it on Reels, you can also post it on Facebook, you're on your news feed. And when you post it on your news feed and your Reels, it's all going to be on at the same time. You're going to get different views from different things. So I find it on my personal that it works a lot better than it does on my business Facebook page.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
No problem.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Great question, Shelton. All right, we have Sergio. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Hey, Sergio, what do you have tonight?
Hey, hello everyone. How y'all doing?
Excellent.
And yeah, I have a question for Dion. Dion, you were talking about getting with Wade, to work out that funding package. I didn't know that we could, email or talk directly to Wade. How do we do that if we have a similar situation?
I'm kind of methodical when I talk with my clients, and Wade knows that I talk to my client. He knows that I close the deal. I
Mhm.
mean, we've had a deal or two that he literally called them because I had to get out of it because you get too many people in it, then
Mhm.
it mudders everything. So, but he knows that whenever I have a deal, I'm gonna call my client. I'm gonna pitch the deal. I'm gonna pitch the however many funding assessment that he has with, whether it be 75, 100, 150. I'm gonna pitch all of it because I've had that rapport built with them to where I know I'll be able to close the deal. So Wade knows that up front that, hey, Dion's gonna go ahead and close it. So, and I do. I go in there and I close it. I think I only had one deal that I didn't close, but that was some other reason why. But yeah, I
But
always,
we can contact Wade directly, or
yeah,
because
because
I thought we could
Wade,
just go through support.
oh, well, no, well, to me, I don't know how it's going on with you, but for me, Wade, I got Wade's cell phone number. So if we got a deal coming up, we talk about it and he tells me what he can get, and then he sends me the email. When he sends me the email, then I go straight to the pitch.
Okay.
So once I do that and I go in for the close. So he doesn't have to do that
Mhm.
himself. He just sends it to me because I prefer to talk to my own clients instead of someone else doing.
Okay,
Okay.
so Dion, let's go back to the very beginning on when you became a DAC agent and how you created that relationship with Wade, okay?
Okay. The basically I sold cars for 9 years. I'm straight up, I'm transparent, I'm in your face, and I'm gonna find out what you need, what you don't need. And I've told people before, if this is not for you, don't get it. So I'm a straight up guy and I go straight for you. So if someone calls me and they have a problem situation, which is they need money for this, they need money for that. I go into all the assessments and funding assessment that I've been through before, and then I let them know, okay, let me get something done for you, and we'll go from there. So with any lender that I've ever talked to, you don't talk to my client. I do, because I built the rapport. I got the relationship. That's the relationship I'm gonna hold for a very long time. So I always tell any lender straight up, and then Wade knows. I mean, I've been doing this with Wade for a minute. But he knows if he has a deal, he'll call me and say, hey man, I got a great deal for you. I'm like, oh yeah, what you got, man? And he tells me, I said, all right, cool. He says, I'm gonna send it to you and you go ahead and do your thing. I said, I bet. And that's exactly what I do. I don't sit around and just wait and just like, I hope he gets the deal done. No. I've been talking to this client and then I've gotten a relationship built with them. So why would I have a third party come in unless I can't do it? You know what I mean? So, but it's not a script. It's nothing fancy. It's just me talking to another person about their needs and I'm solving their problems. That's it. That's it. That's all. Being of service to them. And they realize that because I'm being genuine about it.
That's great that you have the relationship and you're keeping that relationship, building it with your client. But how did you establish that relationship with Wade? Did you submit a deal initially to contact Wade? How did that process with you connecting with Wade in the very beginning as a brand new DAC agent, bringing deals over and bringing clients to DAC? Let's go back through that, how you created a relationship with Wade, because until you signed up for DAC, did he know you?
No, he didn't know me at all.
Yeah. Yeah, because we've got
I think
agents on here that are going, oh, well, I got to submit my own deal and they don't have the background that you do. And I appreciate what you bring to the table, Dion, and the success that you're having. But the average agent here can't do what you're doing. And our program is really not intended for that unless we have a star player like you who wants to take it and run with it. But as far as Wade goes, he's really kind of off limits to people unless you've established yourself as someone who is worthy of his time. Obviously, you have his cell phone, so you have proven that. You've done over $250,000 in funding. So you've proven that you're worthy of Wade's time to help you with the deals. But when you started out as an agent and you hadn't submitted any deals, you hadn't brought anything to the table, Wade would not have allowed you to be calling him. So how did you create that initial connection to start getting that warm connection with Wade as a new agent?
I think it's structuring the deal correctly, because I mean, you can literally send deals all day long and you'll probably never talk to him, but you have to structure it correctly. It's like with the videos that we have. You know, it's got to be 75% of the loan. You know, you got to have 3 deposits. I mean, you have to know what you're doing to begin with. And then, like, I was learning what I need to know and make sure I knew exactly how to structure the deal. And if you don't structure the deal and you just send in just random people and they're just signing up, trying to sign up, and they get declined and you're wondering why it's not getting declined, you have to structure it correctly. And I structured a deal with, I think my first deal was over 100,000, and I structured it the right way. And then Wade hit me up on email, and then next thing you know, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna call him up. But most people are not like me, so most people are not gonna call and be like, hey, what's going on here? Because I don't give up on a deal. I don't give up at all. So, and then like Wade seen what I did on the very first deal, and then right after that first deal, I came up with another deal, and the other deal was 162,000, I want to say. So I structured it correctly, because if you think about it, if you're Wade and you're getting a whole bunch of declines from a certain agent, you want to talk to them? No, because they structured it wrong. They don't. You have to start from the foundation of knowing what you're doing, knowing the videos, knowing the training. Once you know that, then that established my relationship with him, period, because he's like, hey, man. He said, okay, well, you know what you're doing. I was like, all right, cool. So, and then when he's like, all right, well, he's like, well, you want me to call him? I'm like, nope, just send it to me. I got it. And then I closed it. And then the next one came up. Hey, I got you another one. Cool. I got it. And I just keep going with it. So, I mean, you have to know your basics. And if you don't know your basics, then you're not going to be talking to anybody, because all you're going to do is get a whole bunch of declined deals. And that's just, to me, is just, you have to know what you're doing to structure the deal.
Absolutely. That's being a professional. So a little bit deeper, I'm seeing questions on the chat on what do you mean by you structured it? Did you not send this applicant through your website to get the application started? And how long ago was this? Was this when we had the single intuitive app that we now have with Bank Breezy, or was this pre that app when we had a lot of the paper app involved?
No paper app, no paper app at all. It's been the whole thing, Bank Breezy, DAC. It's been the whole thing. So you have to get. I don't know if most people do it or not, but I always do a funding assessment. I want to find out where they are, and you have to know certain things. Just like when you listen to the training, you watch the videos, write down the stuff that you know that you have to know, and then once you do that, then when you get someone on the phone and it's a client, then you're going to be like, okay, let's go through this. And you're thinking it to yourself in your head, or you're reading or whatever, thinking of it in your head, and be like, all right, cool. I'm going to ask them this, this, and this, and this, and this. And if they don't qualify for the things that you have, you don't have a deal. You're just wasting your time. So, I mean, you can go a different route, put them credit repair, whatever. But if you don't know the steps to a funding assessment, you're not going to get deals approved, because there's a structure on how you're supposed to actually send a deal in. And if it's wrong, it's going to get declined. And then you're going to be like, oh man, it's not working. No, it's not the deal. It's the way you structure the deal. Does that make sense?
I'm totally confused. Harlequin, help me out here. I'm totally confused.
Okay. I think what he means is you have, like his first client got $150,000. I am constantly getting agents who are contacting me saying, oh, hey, I've got somebody who's looking for, $150,000. And I'm like, okay, well, what is their monthly revenue? And they're like, $10,000 a month. And I'm like, okay, realistically, folks, if they get $150,000 and they're making $10,000 a month and it's got to be paid back within 12 months, even without the cost of the funds, they don't make enough money to be able to pay. It's going to be over $10,000 a month in the payment. So Dion is familiar with what the requirements are so that you know how to qualify, so that the client is qualified. And, if they are looking for over $100,000, there are additional items that they need to submit that are not listed on that initial documentation. What I typically do with my team is I go, and if you've got somebody who is looking, especially for over 100,000 or more, I recommend that you call me or your upline before you go and call Wade, because I can walk people through most of what Wade can do, because Wade doesn't take phone calls from everybody just because there's not enough hours in the day for the man.
I apologize. I didn't explain that correctly, but you're right. Is this, it has to be, because I mean, you're always going to get owners that are going to be like wanting more than what they can afford. You have to bring them down to reality. And I've told people, the last one I got done, I think was 9,000. This guy wanted 15 grand. His least amount of money that he made in 3 months was 6 grand. I told him to go for 8. He ended up getting approved for 9. So you have to bring your client down to reality, because you can't go out there and just be like, okay, cool. You make $10,000 a month. What's the least amount of money you made in 3 months? They're like, oh, well, the least amount of money I made was 5 grand. You're not going to get that money. You got to bring them down, because that's what I think the most important thing that agents mess up on is that I got a deal and they run. No, you have to pay attention and be consultative to the client, not trying to close a deal. Be a consultant. Explain what they need and how they can get their foot in the door, because if they realize that if alternative lending, if I get in there, I will always be able to get money. Consult them. Don't think about commission. Consult these clients. That way they will come down and be like, the next thing you know, they're gonna be like, I need some money. I'm calling Harlequin right now. Hold on. I mean, you're gonna get some money because you've consulted them. Don't think about the commission.
Okay, so
my
let me
bad.
recap this. Your term of the way you structured the deal, you're really meaning how you consulted with the client beforehand, asking them the right questions, and then setting the proper expectations before you send them through the application to get them started in that app sequence. Is that correct?
Yep. You just can't send everybody through there. You got to get it right
Okay.
first.
Yep. All right. So now we got people on the page of how you're structuring the deal. So the example that I gave earlier about my conversation with the client and the ERC, where he had gotten turned down, but I went back and I re-questioned and got him thinking about it. I was structuring the deal in your terms, right? Because I was setting him up for how he can move on through to get qualified. So just different terminology there. Thanks for helping out with that, Harlan. But definitely knowing what the requirements are, asking the questions. Anytime somebody calls me, they typically start on the phone call. I've got a lot of inbound stuff from either they have found me on social media or through Google or a referral. People call me, my phone is ringing. When somebody calls me looking for funding, my first thing is I've done the introduction. My first thing is, well, great. Well, tell me a little bit about your business. How long have you been in business? Right? I got to know that as a qualifier. Great. Well, how much are you doing every month in revenue? And they tell me that. And then I'm going, how much is it that you're looking for? And then once I know what they're looking for, I'm going to bring them down, like Dion says, and bring it into reality on what they're realistically going to qualify for versus what your dream number is. And I always pose it. Well, you're looking for 50,000, but with your revenue, you might qualify on the high end for 35 or 40. If you could get that much, will that help you towards your goals that you're looking for? Or do you have to have the full 50 that you've got in mind right now? And I get them to think through that. So back to the conversation about getting to Wade first. Wade is really not on the front line with the team over at Bank Breezy anymore. He's in the background doing deals and growing Bank Breezy and bringing on new partnerships like they did with the ERC pros. So he's really at a higher level. He's got his front line where Brad Cordell has really taken over the role that Wade used to have there as kind of the lead funding person in the team. So that's great that you have that relationship with Wade. I have that. Harlequin has that. We have a few other people in the field that have that, just because we have a proven track record. And he knows that when he talks to us, we're not wasting his time, and we're not going to be asking him a bunch of questions that are covered in the training, which is really what happens a lot of times when our support team in the office makes themselves available to the field. They end up wasting their time answering training questions. So Dion, congratulations on proving your success and proving your knowledge and ability to get a client through the process, get the right client through the process to help them get to the other side. And then congratulations on being able to take that, be the one that pitches the deal. For those of you that are wondering, well, can I do that? You can. If you follow through the training that has been done by DAC and some of the trainings that Wade has helped David do on funding, he said, you can take it and you can present it to your own clients, but I highly discourage it. The reason that they discourage it, in most cases, Dion is obviously an exception, but in most cases, they discourage you, the agent, from doing the one that is doing the presentation, because you're not going to know the ins and outs of all the different offers that they got and the reasons why they got this offer, didn't get that offer. And the funding team can have that conversation with your client where you as an agent may not. But you're certainly, if you have that sales experience or you have that lending experience that a lot of our agents do, you can certainly have the conversation with the team at Bank Breezy and say, hey, I want to present to my client, and they will work with you, even though they'll probably try to discourage it in the beginning. But great job. Thanks for sharing your experience there, Dion. We got more hands raised, so maybe more questions for you. I'm going to go to Bobby Knight.
Ellen, can I interrupt for just
Sure, 1 second, Bobby. We'll come back to you. Go ahead, Harlequin.
Yeah. One of the reasons why Wade discourages most agents who don't have specific experience in the lending arena is, and I know that this has happened to people on my team, they weren't completely up on everything, and they actually talked the clients out of accepting a deal. So that happens more often than not. And also, they don't necessarily tell the client exactly how they should answer the questions from the lender whenever they do the funding call. And the clients have talked themselves out of being approved with a specific lender. But so there's a lot of nuances to it. So if you are not 100% positive that you know what you're doing, let the experts do it. That's why we have them.
Yeah, and Harlequin, you're very, very good in the funding space. Do you present the offer to your clients, or do you let Wade and his team do it?
Usually Wade does it. If Wade is having a hard time getting in touch with the client, I will call the client and give them the offer. But yeah, most of the time Wade does it, and he's the master at it. He does
Absolutely.
a phenomenal job. And Wade actually prefers if there's like 5 or maybe 6 people that he will take phone calls from. So he prefers it if you talk to somebody in your upline that has experience with it to help through that process.
Excellent. Thanks for those comments, Harlequin. All right, let's go back up to Bobby Knight.
Hello, can you hear me, Ellen?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Harlequin, and thank you, Ellen. You guys are some of the best team leaders, and I really appreciate that. Ellen, I have a question. It's like a three-part question, and if you can answer, or Harlequin, I would appreciate it. If a person wanted to, if you want to be on the phone, and you want to call a business cold market, I'm saying you, what market will you target? And if you're out, Ellen, out in the field, and a person doesn't have time to ask the questions, what leave behind would you leave them?
Yeah, so if I were targeting cold market, I would probably be focused on the restaurant space. Well, it depends on which one we're targeting. If we're looking at the employee retention credit, I'd probably be focused on restaurants because they were hit the hardest. If I'm looking for just funding and ERC, then I would probably be focused on the construction arena because construction is really our biggest market in all aspects of it, from the heating and air, roofing, plumbing, general contractors that are smaller general contractors, not your mega companies. But anything in the construction space is really good. I always have some sort of leave behind with me. I have drop cards. I have individual business cards that I have made. If I'm and I only have the smaller business cards because I do networking with my local chamber of commerce. When I first started doing those chamber meetings, all I had was my drop card, or as David says, we're going to start calling them connect cards because we have a different vendor, right? But those bigger cards are kind of awkward when you're out passing out business cards in a networking setting. So I ordered the regular size cards so that I have something smaller as a leave behind, but I just use the printed material that we have. If you don't have something as a leave behind and you strike up a conversation, say, hey, do you happen to have a business card where I could stay in touch with you? I'd like to send you some information or check on your business, a couple of months down the road, and ask them for a card. If they don't have one, then, you can always ask them for their number. Is it okay if I text you some information? Just kind of got to go through that conversation piece there. So that was two parts. Did you have a third part?
No, that was asking what would your target market be? That was question. That was
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
On the phone, and if he was out, what would you leave behind if they were busy? You answered all of them. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Ellen.
And I'm not the cold market marketer, Bobby. I don't do any cold market calls. I don't do anything in the cold market other than when I'm out and about and I'm just being me and I see somebody, I'll go up to them with a smile on my face. I'll see somebody getting out of a truck that's a construction truck, or at a gas pump, they may be pumping gas. And, you can kind of tell a lot of times that you're dealing with a business owner and not an employee by the way they carry themselves, by the way they have their operation around them in the vehicle and so on. And I'll go up to them and say, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. Are you the business owner here? And they go, well, yeah. And I say, I just want to introduce myself. My name's Ellen. I live in the local community here, and I am your local funding specialist. If you ever want to expand or grow your business and you can't get money at the local bank, I'd love to be your resource. Can I give you my information here? So if I can ever help you, you've got my contact information. And I've never had anybody say, no, go away. They're nice because I'm standing there smiling. If it's not during COVID, I'm extending a hand to shake hands with them and just being genuine. So that goes a long way. But there are a lot of people have success with cold market calling. I'm just not one of those. Harlequin, did you have any input that you wanted to add to that for Bobby?
I think you covered it pretty good. I'm trying to look here real quick because they were any type of a front-facing business is what Jeremy had suggested to us.
Any type of what?
Front-facing or people-facing business. So restaurants, churches are a good one. Private schools, retail, and home health. Those were the ones that he recommended. whenever,
Awesome.
'cause I asked that same exact question whenever we had Jeremy do the training for us the other day.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Harlequin. I'm going to go to Minister Ron. How are you doing tonight?
Good evening, good evening, Ellen and everybody else. Dion Davis. I got a Dion on here from Chicago, and he's been taking copious notes. I know that. Also, who else is on here? Renee, as well as Money Sharp. And these are the kind of things, Dion Davis, when you're not just a referral agent, but you're a consultant. These are the kind of things that you do for your clients. And so it's important for us to be able to study that so that you bring good paper to the table. And I appreciate you. I congratulate you on your promotions and looking forward to talking with you more and networking with you. Thank you so much for that presentation, man. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Minister Ron. Appreciate that. All right, let's go to James Doswell.
Hey, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Happy Monday. Yes, indeed. Gets better and better the deeper we go, right?
It does.
Okay, couple things that I want to mention. One, the short story on the structure is simply knowing what the qualifications are. And the short version of that is simply every day, just read through out loud the funding reference sheet. Just read it out loud to ourselves 2 or 3 times a day, because all Dion was saying is he knows the information well enough to be able to say it to somebody after he's asked qualified questions. We get that from just reading the reference sheet out loud 2 or 3 times every day for like a week, 10 days. And you'd be surprised how much smoother you are when it comes to speaking to somebody. Okay, what you were saying on the ERC and in the deep dive, Ellen, that information is clear as day in the training PDF on page 19, page 27, and page 35 through 38. Everything that you went through so beautifully is right in the training on the PDF. That's all I got.
And how did I know that? Because I attended the training, I rewatched the training, I have printed off that PDF, and I have reread that PDF multiple times. So it's up here. That's right. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. And thank you for pointing out and telling everybody exactly where to find what I covered in just a conversation. So very good. Appreciate that.
Glad to do it.
All right. And we have Ray next. Hey, Ray, how are you tonight?
Good evening. Can you hear me, Ellen?
Absolutely.
Good evening. Well, congrats again to Dion. I was listening to him. I guess I got a little bit confused because I know he was saying that he gets in contact with Wade. So I guess what I was just trying to understand is in the beginning, like when he first started or since he's been in it, because I know it says that we are to have the clients do the online application. So is he not doing that, or is he still doing that? And I mean, I'm hearing everything that he said, but I'm like, okay, so I thought that that was important, that we were to do the apps online for the clients regardless.
It is. And if I can say this, and then Dion, if I'm incorrect in saying this, from what I understood was when he first connected with Wade, he had the client, he did the correct pre-qualifying the client and setting the proper expectation before he ever sent the client to the application to get it started. And once the client submitted the application, he got an email from Wade, and then he reached out to Wade directly after Wade had emailed him after receiving the client application. And now he is still sending people through the application process, which is the process to get the paperwork in and get the application started. but they've created a relationship now. So when Dion sends that in, Dion, you're probably saying, hey, I've got a client going in. Let me know when you get the offers back so I can present it, right? Would that be kind of a quick summary, accurate?
Yeah, that would be exactly it, because I mean, I don't want to send, trying to be tactful here. You don't send garbage to, I mean, they get deals, they get hundreds of deals a day. You have to make sure that you give the right qualifications, set the expectations, let them know it might be daily or weekly payment. You know, you got to know that, you know, hey, you make $10,000 this month, $12,000 this month, $15,000 this month. This is the only thing you can go for. You have to set the expectation to let them know that what you want is not where you're going to get, or it might be I mean, they might have all the right qualifications, but you have to set the expectation just right. And for me and Wade to finally get on that page is because, I mean, I'm sending him the right clients that he can get approved. And on top of that, when Wade gets a deal done, he's gonna be way up above and beyond everything that you thought you were gonna get. Because I mean, if I should submit a guy for 75K and he come back with 75, 125, 100, 150, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, okay, so I got something to work with. I have choices. That means the client has choices. So you have to set the expectations right, and exactly what you said.
Okay,
Right.
so they're still going through the process online.
They're going to go through the process online, but they don't get online because they have to pass my test first. That's the whole point. If you don't get past if you don't get past my qualifications, I'm not going to just send the link out just randomly. I mean, of course, you got people that go in, see the stuff on your page or something like that, or however they get it. But myself, when they reach out to me, you got to pass all the tests before I even send you the link. That way, it saves my time, it saves Wade's time, and you got a deal. So that's basically what I do.
Okay, now that kind of makes it more clear for me. Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Great question there, Ray. Thank you both. All right, let's go back to Minister Ron.
Ellen, I forgot to mention, especially since I have a growing team on board, you gave us a challenge about a meeting or two ago to join you in the $1 Million Club, didn't you? So while I have a couple of new team members on board, I'm saying we're going to join you. Our team are going to join you in that $1 Million Club. So I'm putting a challenge out to my guys, my new growing team, to join Ellen and everybody else in that $1 Million Club.
I'm telling you that I love it, love it, love it. And you got to speak it out loud, and you got to claim it to make it happen. But you can speak it out loud and claim it all you want, but if you don't take the actions that are necessary to make it happen, you won't. Guys, I sent this in the email, but I'll remind you, the more conversations I have with people that have been marketing this employee retention credit program for the past several months, because it's been out there for a while, and I've been approached by other companies to market it, but none of it just felt right for me. I've told the story that the companies that are wanting to charge an upfront advance retainer fee to the client, that did not sit well with me, right? So I didn't feel good about going and marketing that. Plus, I didn't want to take the eye off the ball here with DAC. But now that we have launched our program, it's a home run. But back to what I was saying, the more people I talk to that have been in this space, this is a 6-figure a month opportunity. And that is not a misstatement. This is a 6-figure a month opportunity for those of you that are willing to get out of your comfort zone and willing to have conversations and set yourself apart from those that are only doing cold market advertising and running paid ads. You've got to get out and have conversations. Back to the plaque that was in David's office, you either win or you learn. Just remember that every conversation that you have is an opportunity for you to get better. And the more conversations you have, the better you get, you're going to be Dion with the examples that he's been able to share tonight, because he's become a professional. He's been in sales a really long time, and he's learned how to structure the deal, in his words, of positioning it. That's what it is. Structuring the deal is positioning it so that it is favorable for your client. You're presenting a favorable opportunity for your client and pre-qualifying them, so the odds of them getting the funding or getting the employee retention credit is favorable for them, because you've done a good job of pre-qualifying them. But it's not going to happen with you sitting back and thinking about it. It will start, though, with you claiming it there, Minister Ron, and I appreciate you bringing that forward again and claiming that in front of your team members and putting them to the challenge as well. I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that this team can have more million-dollar earners than anybody else in DAC. But we've got to get to work, and we got to have conversations every single day. I did the math last week. If you had one qualified ERC client go in a day, just because you're having enough conversations and filling that funnel, and you got one qualified client go in a day that's going to get something back from the IRS based on our averages, at the end of the year, if you did 5 a week, 1 a day, 52 weeks out of the year, you will have earned over $2 million over the next 12 months. So put that one in your pipe and smoke on that one for a little while and think about, are you really willing to do what it takes to get out of your comfort zone and get out here and make it happen? Because if you can make that kind of money in the next 12 months, you've made more money in 1 year than the average person will make in a lifetime. That is generational wealth that you can start establishing and teach your family members and other people in your organization to do the same. Where else are you going to find that opportunity without having to put up money and without having to risk something really big other than your time investment than what we have here at DAC? Okay, I'll go back to questions now. Let's go to Brenda. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Brenda, what you got for us tonight? You're new in here. I appreciate you popping in tonight. Are you there, Brenda? I see you're unmuted. How about your microphone? I'm not hearing you. Do you have the right mic selected? Under your microphone in the bottom left corner, there's a little up arrow. You want to make sure that the correct microphone is selected. So I'm not hearing you. Brenda, if you want to type your questions into the chat, there we go. I see you muted yourself. If you want to type your question or comment into the chat, we'll make sure that we get to that. I'm sorry we weren't hearing you. You can unmute yourself. If you figured out, you can unmute yourself and just say, hey, I got it. And we'll be glad to hear from you. Okay.
Ellen, if I can,
else
waiting on her to type in her question. I am actually leaving in the morning to go to West Palm Beach for the next week. So super excited about that. I'm going to be spending 4 days with Tony Robbins, but I will be available on Wednesday and possibly Monday to get together with, I'm getting together with some of the agents on my team, but if anyone else is going to be in that area, you know, anybody in the Miami area, it's not that far. I put my email address in the chat. It is my name. It's harlequinmurray@gmail.com. So HARLEQUIN and then MURRAY@gmail.com for those of you who are listening. But send me an email and I will try and see if I can get together with you. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and Ellen, I know I had mentioned this to you the other day. Eric Worre is having his GoPro weekend, that first weekend in December. So it's the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the 1st of December. However, for this year, what he's doing is supposed to be every Monday in November, but the first Monday, it's actually going to be Tuesday. He's doing additional training, but I have access to 20 tickets at a discounted price. I am looking for people in various cities who are willing to go and maybe get a group of people together to watch it so that everybody, more people can benefit from it. That's how I got started with it with Ellen a couple of years ago. I'm actually going to be live in the studio audience in Las Vegas for the event. But if anybody is interested in hosting a group, please send me an email and I will see what we can do.
Awesome. Yes, we did talk about that, Harlequin, and thanks for bringing that back up. I obviously am excited about ERC and forgot all about Eric Worre. All right, I'm going to go back to questions. I have Bobby Knight. Bobby, I put my email in the chat there.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Ellen, I know today we was on the call. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay. Was on the call today, and David was talking about, I know you can have more than one agent, but he was talking about 10 agents. Can you explain that again real quick, Ellen, about the 10 agent approach?
Yeah, he was talking about you can go wide or go deep was the question earlier today. So I agree with David's growth strategy, and that is have as many personally enrolled agents as you can. There's no limit to the number of people you can go wide with. But he was given the example of if you had 10 agents that are highly producing agents that are earning at least $50,000 a year, okay? Because you can earn either a 25% match or a 50% match on their income. So let's say you have 10 agents that each earn an average of $50,000 a year, 10 times 50 cumulative, that group of 10 agents is earning $500,000 over the course of a year, right? And if you're getting a 25% match on that cumulative number, because these are all frontline agents to you, 25% match or a 50% match, 50% they earn 500,000, you would earn 250,000 off of their efforts. If you're only at a 25% match because you're engaged, then you would earn 12,500 off of their, $125,000 off of their efforts, right? So that's what he meant talking about having 10 agents that are producing 50,000 each. What if you had 10 agents that produced 100,000 in personal income a year? Then your match would be 500,000, half of that. If that would be a total of $1 million between all 10 of them, right? 100 times 10 would be $1 million income. Then you're earning half of that at 500,000 income, or 250,000, you're at 25%. So there's no limit or no restrictions on how many agents you can have. You can have 50 frontline agents that are each earning 50,000 a year. That'd be 2.5 million out of all 50 agents, and you earn half of that. That's not to mention what you would earn on their team as they start building. That's just the frontline and roller bonuses that we get paid through our compensation plan. But the key is finding productive agents. I have over 700 personally enrolled agents, and I can count on two hands how many of them are actually producing consistently. So it's a matter of finding the right agents that are going to plug in and go. Now, I have a lot of really good people that I've personally enrolled, but they haven't made DAC their priority. They're either really busy on their job, they're really busy with their day-to-day activity, or they never really took the time to plug in and get trained and fully get immersed in what DAC has to offer. But I'm working on changing that with getting the word back out to some of the real quality people that I've enrolled, and also bringing on new agents. As you saw, I was on the leaderboard with 10 new recruits this week. Hope that answers your question, Bobby.
Thank you so much, Ellen. It really does answer that question. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you for the question. Okay, we have Shelton back up. Hey, Shelton, what we got now? I know we have prompted another question. I love it.
Well, a question, or not a question, more of a statement. It had to do with something you said, and I just wanted to give people a little bit of advice of encouragement. If you do any ads, which I've done a couple, and if you don't get any hits on it, don't let that detour you. Still get out there with companies as well, because I've got a couple people lined up. They're waiting for certain things to get into position for themselves, but they're definitely interested. So, but with the ads, I've done three Craigslist list ads, and one of them being on the ERC thing. Understand, especially on the ERC thing, there are hundreds of ads out there right now. You're one pin in a stack of pins, so don't let it discourage you. And the last thing that's just said, which is something that Ellen has really motivated me to look at differently when recruiting. Remember, when doing it, you want, like David always says, look for quality when you're recruiting, because the more people with quality that are serious about this being coming underneath you, that one of them is better than 5 that aren't going to do anything. So just remember that as well. So that's all I wanted to say.
Excellent. All right. Good comments there. Thanks, Shelton. All right. Looks like that wraps up our questions. Anything last in the chat box there, Harlequin, that we haven't gotten to or haven't addressed?
No, I think we answered all of the questions.
Awesome.
Although I didn't see Brenda typing in a question unless she sent it directly to you, but
I did not see a direct question. And Brenda, you've got my email, so you're welcome to email me if you like with whatever you were wanting to ask tonight. Okay.
it looks
All right,
like
guys. Well,
Dion,
we had a great turnout tonight for it being Halloween, and no one has said anything about Halloween all day. I don't think on the leadership Zoom this morning or tonight. So have to acknowledge that we have a bunch of folks that don't have kids that are out trick-or-treating tonight. So glad that you could take time out of your busy schedules to be here with us. Appreciate you. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night on our first Tuesday Zoom starting at 8 p.m. at daczoom.com with a biz op, and then followed by training. So make sure you invite some guests to come out and see what I believe is the best employee retention credit program for any type of affiliate out there, because we're paying way more than 4%. You can earn up to 5.2%. As I said, Dion's hit DAC 4. He's at 5.2% of the refund amount on any clients that come in with the ERC program through him on his DAC business. So let's go forth and multiply. We'll see you tomorrow night on our teams, on our Tuesday Zooms. Have a great night, everyone.